Hey everybody, Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country on MKOCRadio.com. I have been a fan of this lady for many, many years, and got a chance to spend some time with her last year down in Nashville at the Midnight Jamboree. And she continues to tour all over the world, and she's making great records, and she's had just a stellar career in country music. And it's always a pleasure to talk to her, and I'm glad to have her back on my show tonight, Leona Williams. Leona, how are you tonight?
I'm good, Scott. Nice talking to you, and proud to be on your show, hon.
Well, it's always great to have you. I appreciate all the times you've taken the time to be on my show, and we always have a great interview and discussion together.
I love that because you know what real country music is, and you know we're all in this together, you know.
Amen to that.
So
Amen.
we all have to have fun and play our music, you know.
Absolutely. Well, I knew where to come because you are definitely real country music. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Well, it was so nice to see you last year down at the Midnight Jamboree with Freddie Hart and all the folks that were down there. What a great night that was.
Oh, that was David Frizzell. That was a great thing he did, you know. And that was Lefty's birthday that day, and his brother Lefty Frizzell. So, you know, they're celebrating all that and had Freddie there. And I guess Lefty had produced Freddie's first session, I guess. And I thought that was really cool that they got to be on there together.
It sure was. And Freddie was, Lefty was Freddie's best man at his wedding, and he got him his first recording contract. And then we recorded that final album of Freddie's last year, and David produced it, so it was kind of a full circle thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's just so wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of stuff coming up. I know you're going on the Larry's Country Diner cruise, and you've been touring all over. You had a trip to Ireland, I think, again in there, and you're just staying busy.
Yes, I have. Last year, I was in Ireland 2 different times. I toured over there with. I did a show that Daniel O'Donnell is one of my favorites over there, and Daniel, I've known him for quite a while. He recorded one of my songs a long time ago, and he's just somebody that everybody loves. He's country and he's classy, you know. And so, anyways, he was doing a tribute every night over in Ireland at a place, and so he had, you know, like one night he did George Jones, one night he did Charlie Pride, and, you know, just different ones every night. So when he got down to Loretta Lynn, that's when he asked me if I would come and, you know, be on that one with him and several other people. So I was proud to do that, and then I toured some other places while I was there. So it's been great.
Well, that's great. I know you've got a lot of fans. We get a lot of requests for your music from over there, and so you've got a big fan base overseas, no doubt about it, and here too.
Yeah, they're wonderful people. They like country music over there. They stick with you and they support you. You know, it's a wonderful thing. Last year, no, it was the year before last, we were over there and we were doing a show. Ron, my son, and I, and so they gave it was an award show. And so anyway, they gave Ron the male vocalist of the year, the Linkster Music Award show. And then when they got me, I didn't know I was going to get anything, and they gave me the female singer and songwriter, you know, of international deal, you know. So I thought that was really cool, you know.
You bet. That is so well
Ron
deserved.
says, Mom, you know, we got to go a long ways from home to get recognized.
Well, Rod's fantastic too. We play his music a lot. He's been on the show, and I was surprised how tall he was. It was the first time I met him last year, and I was just amazed how tall he was. Maybe it's because I'm short. I don't know. But
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I always say this and fun, but I always call Ron my big, tall, handsome, good-looking, good-singing son, or something like that. Just rattle off stuff, you know, about him. But
he's a long-legged guitar-picking man, right?
Yeah. And he's such a good person, you know. I'm proud of him.
He is, and I love his music. One of my favorite songs of his is called "The F Words." I just love that song.
Oh, yeah, that's Bill Anderson wrote that song. Yeah.
Oh, no, I just love that one. He's like, you gotta be careful you play that. They don't want to get the wrong impression, but it's forgive and forget.
I know it. That's funny though. When I first saw that myself, I was like, what? But a lot of people like it. He's got a lot of airplay on different songs off of that album.
Yeah,
Bill
great.
Anderson wrote a couple of them, I believe, and Becky Hobbs wrote a couple, and he's looked around and found him some hit songs there, seems like,
Amen to that. No doubt about it. Well, you mentioned Loretta Lynn a little while ago, and I want to go back and talk about the early part of your career. And well, one thing I was reading up on you again, and I didn't know this, that you actually toured with Loretta Lynn.
Well, I'll tell you this little story real quick. I was just, in Missouri, and I went to beauty college, and I was a beautician. And we had a band that, played 3 or 4 nights a week, and I was a beauty operator during the daytime there near St. Louis Airport there in St. Anne's, Missouri. And so, anyways, Teddy and Doyle Wilburn was going to be in Washington, Missouri. So my brother Wayne and my kids' dad and I went to see Teddy and Doyle, and they had Loretta with them. And, of course, everybody loves Loretta, and we just fell in love with her and the whole deal. We love Teddy and Doyle. And so we met them. We all went out to eat. I don't know how that all come about, but we all did. We all went to a restaurant. So later we booked Loretta with our band backing her, and I, of course, back then I played upright bass.
Oh, wow.
And sang, and stuff. So, anyways, Loretta was really impressed with our band when she got to work with them, and she said, if I ever make it, I'm going to help you kids. And sure enough, I got a call while I was a beautician there, and anyways, Loretta said, I'm starting my own band. I need you to come work with me, So my kids' dad played drums, and I played upright bass in Loretta's first band called the Blue Kentuckians. We did that for almost a year.
Wow.
And she's the one who got us to move to Nashville. And then later I got a record deal with Hickory Records and Cuff Rose and Hickory Records, and it started doing good and on our own. So that's what got me started, Miss Loretta.
Wow, bless her heart. That's fantastic. We owe her a big debt of gratitude. That there would have been a lot of wonderful music missed had that break not come along.
Yeah, she even recorded a song that the first song I had anything to do with was called "Get What You Got and Go," and we had written that while we were still in Missouri, and anyways, it kind of fit her sassy little sweet style, So, anyways, she recorded it. It's on her "Don't Come Home and Drinking" album.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna have to play that later on. I've got that. We'll play that later on. That's a great song. Well, your first recording on Hickory was called "Once More." Is that right?
No, the first one was called "A Woman's Man."
Okay.
A song written by Red Stewart, who wrote Tennessee Waltz.
Oh yeah.
It was called "A Woman's Man," and I'd recorded that out here at Nugget Studios in Goodlettsville. And anyway, that's the songs they took to Hickory Records, and Wesley Rose said, I want to sign her. He slowed my demo record down, or demo thing down, and he said, when you slow her down, she sounds like Roy Acuff. I want to sign her. I thought that was real funny, Anyways, the first thing we did, as soon as I signed my deal and we recorded and all that, we went with Lonzo and Oscar to overseas in 1968, and went to 13 foreign countries over in Far East, and we were in Vietnam for 10 days, and we toured Japan and different places, and it was a good chance to be heard and to meet a lot of folks and meet the servicemen and and stuff. And Lonzo and Oscar from the Grand Ole Opry, my kids' dad and me.
Wow.
Went over there, and Oscar, his wife Geneva, took care of Kathy, my daughter, and while we were gone, and she mailed over my first 45 record that I ever had out. And she mailed it over there to us, and we went into a USO club in Taipei, Taiwan, put it on their jukebox, and listened to it. I sure was proud of it, I'll tell you.
Absolutely. That was Once More, right?
No, it was called "A Woman's Man."
Okay. Now, Once More, that came out after that, but I think that was your first real big hit record, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first one that really got some attention was "Once More," and I got me on the Grand Ole Opry, and I was on the Opry as a guest, almost like a regular, there through those years right there. Wow. But I loved the Grand Ole Opry. That was the most exciting place, and oh my gosh, it was so good, and I had so many friends on there,
Yeah.
It's great. Porter and Roy and Cuff, and then sweet little Connie Smith, and stuff. And as years went by, Connie recorded a song I wrote called Dallas.
Oh, I love
this
that
top
song.
10 record for her.
You've had so many great songs. One of the ones that I love, and this was kind of a daring statement at the time that it came out. It was called "Country Girl with Hot Pants On."
Yeah, that was the fad, the girls wearing the hot pants. And I was an old country girl. I was bashful, and I said, I don't want to record the song. Jim Mundy wrote it. And I told my producer over there at Hickory that, and then I thought, well, maybe that's the fad. I'll just go ahead, whatever. And so anyway, I recorded the song, and it did really good for me. Of course, it takes, I don't know what it takes to get a top 10 record, but it was in the charts. I don't know how high it went or anything, but sure did good for me,
That's great. Well, some years later, I've wanted to ask you about this album. We haven't really talked about it before. You recorded a live album in San Quentin, and you were the first female artist to do so. And tell me about how that whole thing came about.
Well, through my career, there's lots of steps, and one step I made was Merle Haggard was a fan of mine. He liked Yes Ma'am and Once More, and those records of mine. So he was in town, and Ronnie Reno. I'd been on the tour with Ernest Tubb and the Osborne Brothers, and Ronnie for a while worked with Sonny and Bobby, the Osborne Brothers. So Ronnie and I were friends, and so Ronnie called me and said, Merle is a really huge fan of yours. He wants to meet you. So I went to meet him downtown in Nashville here, and anyway, then I went with Merle and them where he was recording his Train album. So I went over there and sang on one of the songs on that album, and so Merle asked me to join his show and all that. He kept calling, for a month or so and wanting to know if I'd be interested. Finally I said, okay, let me work things out. So I went out on the road with him, and Merle had an idea for a girl to go to San Quentin prison and do a prison album. He had written a song. I think him and Bonnie, his wife at the time, had written a song called San Quentin's First Lady or something like that, or San Quentin, You've Taken the One and Only Man I'll Ever Love. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that was the title of the album, just San Quentin's First Lady. So I always say this all in fun. Merle knew the ropes because he was stationed there one time for 3 years. But I got to go there, and that was quite the deal. San Quentin's First Lady,
What was it like doing a concert there as opposed to doing regular shows where you're not playing in front of a prison audience? It had to be quite different.
Oh, it was different. It kind of I'm just I try not to let my mind wander into stuff that you could wander into, maybe, being scared or whatever. I just, was, one of the security guards there, said, kind of give us some advice and everything. But, you act like a lady, and hopefully they'll treat you like one, So we did a Merle Haggard's band, The Strangers. The whole band was there, and it was really, really wonderful. And we had of course, we had a great audience that loved the real music, and
mm-hmm.
stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Now was Merle there too on that when you did that recording?
Oh yeah, he was standing right there with us, and playing and stuff, playing music with us, and
wow.
All the band, Roy Nichols and Tiger Bell was there, the little boy that
oh yeah,
playing the fiddle and everything. That little guy. Now he's grown up to be a right good fiddle player and really a sweetheart guy. And he's here in Nashville too. And so we're just, I'm just real thankful I got to make a step and do so many things in the music, with different people. And
absolutely.
And still going, like Jean Shepherd always. She was the sweetest, my favorite person, Jean was. She always says, I'm old, I've done lots of stuff. Now I'm using her words.
Well, you're still doing lots of stuff. Well, that album, folks, is still available. It's in print on CD, and you can get it at leonawilliams.com. And a very
Good.
historic album. I encourage you to visit Leona's website, and of course she's got so many great albums that are available there too. And check out where she's going to be on tour and all those wonderful things, and stay in touch with what's going on with her. I My daughter is will be 13 years old shortly here, and she has taken a huge interest in music, and she's very interested in history, and she's gotten to meet a lot of great people. And I was playing some of your stuff the other night, and she said, "Who is that?" And I said, "It's Leona Williams." And she looked up. I have a picture on my wall that you had signed for me some years ago, and she looked at it and said, "That lady there, yeah." And she's really good. And she says, "How old is she?" And I told her, and she says, "No." And I said, well, "Let me play you a video." And there was a video on YouTube, a recent video of you doing "Yes, Ma'am, You Found Me in a Honky Tonk," and you hit those high notes just like you always did. And I tell you, her eyes got as big as saucers. She's like, "Hey, she's really good."
Is that right? How sweet.
So you got a young fan there, without a doubt.
Oh, well, all right. Well, that's just great.
um,
Well,
we we've talked about Merle. We've talked about your whole time with Merle and everything. But I'd like to ask what it was like writing music with him. And you wrote some of his great songs. "Someday When Things Are Good," "You Take Me for Granted," and I know you guys did quite a bit of collaborating together. What was it like writing songs with Merle Haggard?
well, songwriting, one of the first things we talked about, because Merle said, "I got a song I want pitched to you. I want to sing you this song." So, anyways, that was when I first met him there, in Tennessee here back in the day, and later I don't really know what it was like. We just throw lines out there, for each other, and sit down with our guitars and just start singing stuff, But I always looked up to Merle because he had so many great songs and all that. But he sure was a good writer and had lots of great ideas, and he seemed like he was worldly. He was on top of what's going on right now, and that's what he was writing about a lot of times,
Yeah.
And he was very interesting, for sure.
I was always impressed talking to him. He was very worldly, and you could talk to him in depth about a lot of different subjects. And I had conversations with him from time to time that weren't even about music, and I was always impressed with his knowledge and his grasp on what was going on in the world.
Yeah, Merle was a really very knowledgeable person with the talent to put words together, and he knew where he'd been with San Quentin. He knew all that was something he was. I don't know if he was proud of that or not, but I know he looked at my family, my mom, and he liked my mom a lot and respected her, and and we loved his little mom so much too, and he did too, and her and I were close, Miss Flossie, and so Merle, I know one time there was a problem with a family member out there on his side, and he said, "I think I'd like to send you back to Missouri to Leona's family and let you see what it's really like, to be, a real full family."
Wow.
And I thought that was a nice compliment, because he could tell the difference.
Yeah.
And, he knew what the good was,
That's amazing.
And I tried my best to hang on to Merle for a long, long time, but sometimes you just can't make things last forever,
Yeah, it was an unusual time in his life. He was a lot of things
Yeah.
going on. Did you guys stay in touch in later years?
Oh, we didn't actually. There was a period that went by for like 18 years. I never saw him, and I was working in Branson with the Grand Ladies, and he was playing, I think, the Palace there in Branson, and he came. He did an interview with a lady that was interviewing me that same day, and he told her to tell me to come to his show. And so anyway, by then I was married again, so was he, and I was married to Dave Kirby for almost 20 years after Merle. Dave was a great writer and guitar player here in town.
Absolutely.
And anyway, Dave and I went to the show. I said, let's go break the ice. I ain't seen Merle for years, and it makes me nervous, but let's go. So we went, and everybody's expecting us to be there. And so here we go. We're sitting in the bus, and they told us where to sit and everything. And so here's Merle come out of the back of the bus, and he had this old hat on, and he had it pulled down. And, I'm kind of nervous, and I said, well, there's Merle Haggard. That's all I knew to say, that just come out. And he started crying, and he said, you just don't know how many people in this country love you guys. And that's the first thing he said to me after all those years. And then later, I talked to him once in a while on the phone and everything. But I tried to stay away from and not ever cause a problem with Merle and his wives or whatever he's had, and tried to be a regular person and still be in the music business, and with everybody knowing you were married to a huge star like Merle. And so, there was good days and bad days for us.
Yeah.
But that's a natural thing, I guess. But I don't like fussing and fighting and stuff like that. So I, had to get away, But anyways.
Well, that's a good way to be, I tip my hat. You did a tribute album to Merle, and you've never said an ill word about him, and it's got to be. It had to be hard putting the separation in there, when you kind of see the wizard behind the curtain, and then, to look at his body of career and music and everything.
Yeah.
And I think you've managed to maintain that and continue to pay respect to that music, and certainly the music that you two made together too. That was a beautiful duet album that you guys did. That album I thought was quite, it was largely overlooked, and I don't know why. There was a couple singles from it. I know the Bull and the Beaver hit long before that album came out, but I thought,
yes, it did.
I thought the Heart to Heart album was one of the greatest. I think it was the best duet album that Merle did, certainly. And there were songs on there like "It's Cold in California" that I thought was gorgeous.
Yeah, that was really a good album, and but Merle he wouldn't do there was a lot of things that he didn't want me to do. I was his wife, and he didn't want me to like. I had a chance to do lots of different things that would have helped my career and helped him too, maybe, But he wouldn't let me do it. I was his wife, and he was, whatever. And me, I just looked at I'm satisfied playing guitar and sing a little harmony with you, and that's fine. I never worked on my career for several years there, but Merle was, respectful to my music, but he wouldn't let me do a lot of stuff, because he said, I don't want to do back in the day there was a lot of videos people were doing,
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Merle wouldn't do a video. We had a chance to do a video on We're Strangers Again, song I wrote, and he didn't want to do that. He said, I don't want to be Johnny Cash and June Carter. And so I thought, oh, no, you don't want to be a duet singer, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, he was for Merle, and that was it,
Yeah. Well, that was
great.
Hard.
It was really hard for me, to even have a small career. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. I'm doing good. I'm thankful to God. I can still do it.
Absolutely. Well, that the album is you have a duets album on your website that's available. It's got a great deal of those songs on it, and then Bear Family has an album called Old Loves Never Die that's got the entire duet album. Plus, it's got a whole bunch of your great songs on there as well. And I know that that's available too at Bear Family and also at LeonaWilliams.com. Great music. You Take Me for Granted has kind of had a resurgence here lately. I saw that George Strait performed it here recently on one of these shows.
He did, yes. I was so proud of that. I'm always proud when anybody, sings a song that I had something to do with, and so anyways, I was so proud of that. And this little Mo Pitney guy, I love him, and his little wife, Emily, she's such a good singer, and I just saw a video yesterday of them doing a little live show, and she sang You Take Me for Granted like unbelievable, and it was wonderful. And so a little Tia Golan, she has it on her album. George Jones recorded it, And of course, Merle had the #1 record. I've recorded it 2 or 3 times on different, albums. I did the Leona Sings Merle album. It's on that one, and it's on another one that I did, another one or two. So it's been recorded by lots of folks, and I hope George Strait maybe might record it someday.
That would be great. That's one of those songs. There's an upper echelon of songs. And every so often a song comes along that's just, kind of a cut above everything else, and there's just something about it, and that's definitely one of those songs.
Well, thank you. There's a lot of good singers that sing it, and it's like that song could be, maybe be a single again for someone. That would be nice.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always amazed at, songs tend to come around again. And, you get to a different generation, and this is new music for them. And now with the internet and stations like what I'm doing, people are discovering, the older music, and they're hearing these great, great songs that stand the test of time. And I've always said, good music has no expiration date.
Yeah, yes, that's right. A song that I'm real proud of, too, that Ray Price did a song of mine called The Way It Was.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Ray was such a wonderful singer, and he, it's like it was easy for him to sing, and Merle loved that song years ago, and Merle said, I'm going to record that one of these days, and he just never got to it, But Ray did it, and Ferlin Husky as well. Ferlin did his title one of his albums.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, and I did it on a small label that, here, but girls' version of it. And I've just been lucky with some of my songs. I'm proud of them,
They're beautiful songs. You are one of the greatest songwriters in country music as far as I'm concerned. You've had some of the best music out there, and your voice is just phenomenal and still is. And I love the fact that I can always tell it's you singing. You've got that distinctive style.
Yeah, I always loved George Jones' singing, and I always thought I want to be soulful like George. I knew I didn't have the pretty vibrato or any of that stuff, and never really wanted it. But the phrase and stuff George did was just my favorite, and of course I love Vern Gosdin, and and I love Vince Gill. There's so many that I love, singing and their phrasing and stuff like that, and I just like that. And so I thought, golly, if I could sing some of them George songs and put a little bit of that in some of the stuff, then you create your own style, kind of,
Absolutely. You did a great album on George too.
Yeah, I did. It's called By George. This is Leona Williams. The name of that one.
I love that.
That was a funny title.
That's a good one.
But George, one time, Merle wouldn't drive in Nashville. He said it's too much traffic. I said, don't worry, I'll drive. I'll take care of it.
You ought to see it now.
Yeah, I know. I see it now, yeah. So anyway, George and his manager, Billy Wilhite, was in Atlanta or somewhere down there, and they were coming to Nashville, wanting to know if we'd come pick them up at the airport. And so I told Merle, I said, come on, let's go get George and Billy, at the airport. So Merle was sitting there with me, and we rode out there and picked him up. And so I'm driving, Merle's in the front seat by me there, and George and Billy's in the back seat. And that Merle, he was always pulling something funny on me. But he said, now, Leona, he said, you got me and old George Jones both in this car with you. Now tell us, who's your favorite singer? Oh. And anyways, I said, well, George Jones has always been my favorite singer. And you know what? He still is. And I said it just like that, and Merle just died laughing, because he's trying to, aggravate me. And I told somebody that here a while back, and they said, you should have said Conway Twitty.
Yeah, yeah, really.
Really surprised them, wouldn't it?
They'd have made you pull over for that one.
Yeah, right. Oh, my gosh.
Well, Merle...
We had lots of fun, too. Merle and I did.
Merle always said that, without hesitation, George Jones was his favorite singer. and George Jones said the same thing about him. So that was
Yeah.
that was a neat, and that last duet album they did. George did a beautiful version of "You Take Me for Granted," even though his voice was certainly failing by that point. But
Yeah.
he's still just absolutely was gorgeous, gorgeous song.
Yeah, he was so good. He was just awesome. And when they did their first album, Yesterday's Wine album, I was with them, and I wrote one of the songs on there called "After I Sang All My Songs." And anyway, after it was over with, and Merle was just like, he said, I believe that he's the best I've ever seen. Old George, and I said, I was proud of that, because I thought, yeah, good. I'm glad to hear you say that,
I love that song. That George was singing so good on that song, and that I smiled and played the music while they just cheered me on. God, that was man, that was good.
That's it. Yeah.
You and George,
phrased on it. That's great.
Oh man, you and George did a duet on his Ladies' Choice album too, called "Best Friends."
Oh, we sure did. Yes. Yeah, Best Friends. Yep.
What a great song that was. Wonderful memories. Wonderful memories. So, what is the year holding for you as far as touring and recording? And I know you've always got so many great things going on.
Well, I've got several things. I'm going, of course, we talked about the cruise this week, and then I get back, and for a few days I got to do a little backup for a sweet little girl from Missouri that's recording here. I want to go sing on her record a little bit, a line or two. And I told somebody the other day, I said, I'm kind of like Willie Nelson. I sang on everybody's record. I don't care. But anyways, it's a compliment to sing on anybody's, So this little girl, Presley's her first name, and so I'm going to sing with her on a couple things, and then we're going to be in Florida, in Vernon, Florida, at Gillies down there. I haven't been there for a few years.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a wonderful place. And then we're going over to the Gulf Coast Country Music show there in Loxley, Alabama. And then there's a few other shows down there. I forget where they are, but I'm doing that. And then this year I'm going to go to Canada. Got that festival up in the place that Hank Snow's from, Nova Scotia.
Oh, yeah.
Up there, we're doing that festival up there. And then, let's see, there's just scattered places, that I'm playing at. So, and they're just, now people are really starting to call about shows and everything. And I'm setting a few things, if I can. I'm doing a few things of the Country Gold Tour with Leroy Van Dyke and Gladys.
That's a great
she books
show.
The Country Gold Tours.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got Bobby Bear on there. Sometimes it's David Frizzell, whoever, just different singers they put together. And we're going to be, I think she booked something in Pennsylvania, and there's something in Indiana for sure. And I forget where else, but a lot of little things going on this year already. And of course, Ron will be with me, my son. And
that's great. That's great. I just had Leroy on the show, and we were talking about that Country Gold Tour. And
good.
What a great thing! And we're going to have to see if we can't get you all back up here in Michigan. We need some good country music up here.
Oh, just let us know. We'll come there for sure.
That would be super. Well, LeonaWilliams.com is the place to go, and you can get so much of Leona's great music there and stay in touch with her on tour dates and go see her if you get a chance. And I'm going to put you on the spot here, Leona. You've told me some great jokes as I've talked to you over the years. I'm going to see if you got a new one for me today.
Any new jokes? Oh, my gosh. You know what? I can't think of anything right at the moment.
You told me a good banjo joke. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah. That was a cute one, wasn't it? That one about we were on that Ireland tour, Irish people. We were with them in Kentucky, and they said, do you know the difference in a onion and a banjo? And it says, oh, nobody cries when you cut up a banjo. Ain't that cute?
I love it. Well, I got one for you. If you're a musician, if you take your capo and you put it on your dashboard of your car, they'll let you park in the handicap spot.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody told me that here a while back. I said, oh, my God, that's great. I think about that sometimes when I park, and we've had one of those, you know. Wish I had my capo up here. I got a pink one, too.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it. Well, as always, I've enjoyed talking to you, and I want to thank you for your years of friendship. You've always been so sweet and kind to me and my family, and we just think the world of you. And thank you so much for taking time and all this wonderful music that you've given us.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you called today, and it's just you've made my day
Well,
to
me
get
too.
to talk to you, Scott, and let's keep in touch, all righty?
That sounds
And
fabulous.
come to see us.
We will. We're hoping to be down in a couple months, so I'll make sure and let you know. Hopefully, we get a chance to meet up. It'd be great to see you.
Okay. All right, hon.
I know my daughter'd love to meet you. Well, folks, we're going to play some of Leona's wonderful music for you here, just a whole big selection of her songs, and I want you to enjoy this, and please visit leonawilliams.com. Leona, thanks again for being on My Kind of Country.
All right, hon. Thank you. Bye.
Now, gal, I ain't a-preaching, but I've got something to say. I've always been a peace-loving woman, that is until today. But somebody said you've got aspiration for my man here of late. I don't know what aspiration means, but I'd better set you straight. My man, well, he's a woman's man, and that's what he'll always be. I don't care what he sees in you, 'cause I know what he sees in me. He's playful as a puppy, and I guess that's plain to see. I understand he's a woman's man, but honey, that woman is me. I don't know how you met him, but that don't worry me, 'cause I know how you're gonna leave him, and that's strictly alone for me. Your swinging hips and your painted lips, well, that's just his cup of tea. I understand he's a woman's man, but honey, that woman is me. My man, well, he's a woman's man, and that's what he'll always be. I don't care what he sees in you, 'cause I know what he sees in me. He's playful as a puppy, and I guess that's plain to see. I understand he's a woman's man, but honey, that woman is me. He's sweet, he's fine, and what's more, he's mine. So little gal, get lost, or you're gonna pay the cost. He's playful as a puppy, and I guess that's plain to see. I understand he's a woman's man, but honey, that woman is me. I understand he's a woman's man, but honey, that woman is me. Once more to be with you, dear, just for tonight, to hold you tight. Once more Yes, ma'am. He found me in a honky-tonk, and I'm sure I'm not the kind of girl you'd want your son to know. Yes, ma'am. I know you think that it's all wrong, and if he felt the way you do, I'd go back where I belong. Yes, I know he deserves the best, and there's better girls than me. And please don't quarrel with me, I love him, can't you see? Yes, ma'am. He met me where the lights are low, and I've seen the other side of town where good girls shouldn't go. Yes, I know he deserves the best, and there's better girls than me. And please don't quarrel with me, I love him, can't you see? Yes, ma'am. I partied with the crazy crowds, but someone just like your loving son helped to show me how. Yes, someone just like your loving son helped to show me how. I went through all my jewelry, took out all the golden rings. They were just old memories to me that no longer meant a thing. I put them in a velvet bag, took them to the local jewelry store. I said, melt them down into a broken heart, I don't need them anymore. Melted down memories on a shiny golden chain, a golden broken heart melted from a dozen rains. Melted down memories of the nights I cried alone, from wanting love from someone I know will never be my home. The only ring I wanted was the one I'll never get to wear, 'cause the only man I ever really loved wasn't free to care. While trying to forget him, I accepted many other rings of gold, but they were only souvenirs, and without love they always left me cold. Melted down memories on a shiny golden chain, a golden broken heart melted from a dozen rains. Melted down there. never be my own. Melted down memories. Met my man down in Dallas singing on the radio. Now he's here in Nashville on the Grand Ole Opry show. He's my flare-legged, black-headed, good-looking, guitar-picking man. If a man could ever love me, yes, man, hey, this one can. Well, he picked cotton on the Delta and he picked a mean guitar. Well, I'm sure glad he picked on me, the guitar-picking star. He's my flare-legged, black-headed, good-looking, guitar-picking man. If a man could ever love me, yes, man, hey, this one can. Here comes my guitar-picking man. Now he's got a gal that he can't leave, and he's minding mine alone. He's my flare-legged, black-headed, good-looking, guitar-picking man. If a man could ever love me, yes, ma'am, hey, this one can. Well, he flat-picks the guitar, and his lovin' he's a whiz. Don't think that I'm just bragging, I just tell it like it is. He's my flare-legged, black-headed, good-looking, guitar-picking man. If a man could ever love me, yes, man, hey, this one can. My legs and my feet have walked till they can't hardly move from trying to please you. And my back is sore from bending over backwards to just lay the world at your door. And I'm trying hard to keep a smile on a sad face, while deep down it's breaking my heart. And as sure as the sun shines, I'll be a lifetime not knowing if I've done my part. 'Cause you take me for granted, and it's breaking my heart. And as sure as the sun shines, and his shoes